the season. So I guess we can kind of talk a little bit about BSL as we get things started, because this is the first broadcast of Season 6. So I guess there's probably a lot of people out there who have not watched a lot of BSL, so they might be a little bit confused.
Hi, BSL.
Yeah, we've had a few ladder tournaments. There's been great showings from a bunch of players. They had the qualifiers, of course. They had Chobo League. I made it through Chobo League. I couldn't make it through ladder last season, so we had to find an alternative route. But yeah, there's also a bunch of new players in here. SPX is in, Jaeyun is in. We have a couple Americans specifically. New South Americans have made it. Gosu Dark. There's a whole bunch of new players that are into BSL this season.
Yeah, even though I watched a bunch of BSL last season, I still don't know too many of the newer players coming through. So just excited to get a chance to watch it and watch the players as they make their way through the tournament. So it's a brand new season, not only on the ladder with a bunch of new maps there, but we also have a map pool for BSL, and I think we have a scene to show that to everybody out there. If you are unfamiliar with either a current map pool or which maps are going to be played in BSL, this is kind of a good way to get a brief overview of what's going on. I know at least for me, it's always nice to see some standard maps like Circuit Breaker make it through, and then Sylphid, of course, the mainstay of previous seasons of ASL. And in the way of an Eddie, or just Eddie here, is a map that even after I play and watch the best players in the world play on it, I still don't know if people have totally locked down how to play that. It's by far the newest map in this map pool, so kind of some old and new here for our first matchup, which is between Jaeyun and SPX.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. Jaeyun, one of the best American players, a deadly Zerg, but he's going up against a very strong Terran player in SPX. And I like how they banned out all the new BSL maps, RIP BSL maps, but we are getting standard maps here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I was setting up for us to be able to talk about the new map pool, but then they made it so much less fun than it actually is. And in some of our other series, we might see some of the new maps coming through, and maybe we can talk about them then. But yeah, you're right. It's a much more standard way to start playing our first series. So kind of easing our way into it. And I guess without further ado, we can go ahead and get into this. Before we do start things, I'd like to get maybe a tiny prediction from you, Nyoken.
I don't know. I like Jaeyun. I can't go against Jaeyun because he's an American player, but I've played SPX on the ladder. He's very good. I know he's in, I think it was IFU, and IFU is the same team that's Eon Zerg's in. So if you're playing against the likes of Eon Zerg, former BSL champion or current BSL champion,
yeah,
it'll be very difficult to beat him. So yeah.
Certainly. Okay, well, I know I'm ready to go. I hope you're ready to go, and I hope everybody else is ready to start the next season of BSL. We're about to get underway, so as long as Zero, our man behind the scenes, and of course the orchestrator and admin of BSL is ready, I think we can go ahead and start things off with our first game of BSL Season 6.
BSL Saturdays for the win. Protoss for life.
All right. As long as there is no lag, it seems like everything is good. We're stretching the boundaries of time and space to make our connections all work here together. But it looks like everything is good to go for our first game of our first series, BSL Season 6. I'm Rapid, with me is Nyoken, and in the upper left-hand corner of our map is our White Terran player, SPX.
And in the top right, we've got the Zerg representing the North American hope. It's Jaeyun. Now, we talked about how we had standard maps, but for those that have watched ASL, we've seen a little bit of unorthodox play coming out from Terran players, like on blockchain specifically. The nuke rush coming out from Nada.
What even? I don't.
Yeah. What was that? That was unreal. I was going ballistic when I saw that game. But we've also been seeing this new 10-10-10 style going into 5 Factory Goliath. So despite these being all standard maps, the fact that we've seen unorthodox play in ASL those builds could transition into these maps.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I think Artosis highlighted that in the most recent illustration of that in ASL, the 10-10-10 into 5-Fat Goliath, because we used to have 5-Fat Goliath be something that was super cheesy, and you would bust it out, and then you'd walk across the map, and if they weren't prepared, then you would kill them, and you'd feel pretty good about yourself there. But now it's not quite as cheesy; it's a little bit less of a it's a little bit less popular than I guess it was for a while when it first came out there. But yeah, I don't know what to expect from not just the new maps, but the new ways that people are playing. This is the thing about Brood War is that I feel like I'll learn the matchups and stuff, and even if the maps stay the same, players will still find new ways to play on them. And also, I never know what to expect out of a lot of our players here in BSL, so it's going to be exciting to find out.
Yeah, very excited. But we have standard play from SPX so far. We have Jaeyun going for standard play, being a little greedy here with a later pool. Now, I have a little bit experience versus Jaeyun. He generally plays 3-hatch style, but you do have to watch out for is where he puts his third hatchery. Sometimes he hides it at another main and goes into lurker play. That's a very strong build from him. Sometimes he just plays Muta style. So SPX is going to have to sniff out what is Jaeyun doing here. And meanwhile, SPX, I've played against him on the ladder. In my experience versus him, of course, it's Terran versus Terran, but he seems to like to go for a very strong contain and continuously keep up that pressure. So if he can get a contain on Jaeyun, it may be hard for Jaeyun to get 4th base and get into that big econ style that he normally likes to play.
Yeah, one of the only things I kind of characterize SPX as is he's not one of those sit back, passive on 3 bases and macro kind of Terrans. Like, he is going to put that pressure on. And that's kind of... it's interesting how that will play into Jaeyun's style, especially if he does take his third at another main. He's not doing that this game, but obviously that would make the pressure a little bit harder to deal with. So Scout from SPX is good enough to see that the third hatchery is in the base and that we are going to see this style of play. So both players pretty well aware. Well, I guess SPX is well aware. Jaeyun is still having trouble kind of gauging exactly what SPX is up to.
Yeah, so SPX knows exactly what's going on. Jaeyun, his scout is already out. And like I was saying about blockchain, we're seeing a lot of resurgence in 2-base play. As we talked about that, we're seeing a 2-racks coming out from SPX. It's not going to be a 5-racks. Now, what could this mean? Could this mean a faster tech play like Nada pulled out? Are we going to just go into standard 4-racks with +1? We're going to have to wait and see. But meanwhile, this SCV is still alive in the base of Jaeyun, doing a really good job. He can pretty much confirm that this is not going to be lurker play.
Finally it does go down, but you're right, that SCV, it was like a probe. You just kept that thing alive for so long. And not only to hold the Lings back on Jaeyun's side of the map, but also to get all of that information and see exactly what's happening. Really, really valuable there for SPX, so he knows exactly what he needs to defend. If he didn't, maybe he'd have to play even more defensively, get up things like bunkers and just really try to hold on. But he feels a lot more comfortable now that he knows exactly what to expect. And it is only 6 Lings, so as long as he sees that with his forward SCV, it's not like there's a whole lot of damage that Jaeyun has the opportunity to do.
Yeah, and this is something that I like every single time I watch Jaeyun stream. Look at the map vision he has so far. He's got his overlords all over the place. He even has this one Ling at the top. So common for Terrans to send Marine medic groups down that path. And he's going to see it coming if SPX decides to go that way. He even gets the SCV, so that's a pretty big scout. SPX in the dark a little bit. But what is Jaeyun's follow-up? I'm trying to look. There is the Spire. It is coming down just now. But SPX, he's got 2 racks. There's a 3rd racks. So this is most likely not going to be the Nada fast tech style.
Man, I don't know if we can ask Zero to devote part of the BSL prize pool to anybody that tries that Nada build out. There's a really sick build order that was posted after he tried it, but it is just so much fun to watch. And when it was happening live, sickest nerd chills. So amazing. Let's actually talk a little bit about what we're seeing. A lot of times you'll see, especially when you start off with 2 racks. Oh, wow. Did he not kill an SCV? Oh, my God. Man, SCVs and medics, that's a good combo. But this is double Firebat starts, so no medics here. He is just going to go straight across the map. He's just now starting range here, too. But what does this mean, Nyoken? Why do you skip, it's not that he skipped medics, but why do you go for double Firebat here?
Yeah, well, you got to get the double fire bet because Zerg has map control at this point in the game, and if
Okay.
they had built excess lings and they see you move across the map, they're just going to counterattack you. So building these 2 fire bets. Oh no, he's stemming across the map for these Sun because he knows that they're a little bit late. Full drone pull from Jaeyun, but I think that he's just barely going to hold. But regardless,
Yeah.
that's a lot of economic mining time lost for Jaeyun, and SPX already in a pretty good spot. He is floating a little bit of money. I'm worried that he's kind of messed up his build a little bit, but there's a factory. So despite what I was thinking, this factory timing is pretty fast.
Man, when he was stepping across, that's so scary when you just see the 3 unmorphed Sunkens. You're like, is this where the Zerg player actually just dies? But Jaeyun had just this last sliver of time that he needed to get all 3 of those Sunkens up, cancels the forward one, and holds on. And now this Bioball's got to get back home, man. There's 6 mutas all the way across the map.
Yeah, this is the one thing about going 2 racks Marine Medic is most of the time your whole army's across the map. It's going to leave you vulnerable to a counterattack from the mutas. But SPX already ready, and look at the power of Jaeyun. We call him Drone Man. He's got that sick econ. Despite the drone pull, he's getting greedy, taking bottom right. But he's already smelling out, he's already smelling out SPX counterattack to bottom right, and he's looking like he's going to clean this up. There's so many mutas here. I don't think there's enough Marines. The Marines are not even next to the medics, so they're going to get insta-killed, and Jaeyun's going to get this base for free.
Oh my god, this is actually so bad for SPX. You're right, Jaeyun's Star Sense really kicking in. He crushes the attempt at putting pressure on the bottom right, destroys that Bioforce. Now, not only is he going to get a free 3rd base, but what control does SPX have over this game? He has 0 map control, and he's even just going to struggle to hold on against all the links and mutas that Jaeyun has right now.
Yeah, and this is one of the weaknesses of when you're going for 2 to 4 racks, is if you lose any amount of your army. Look at his army right now for SPX. We've got maybe slightly more than 1 group of Marine Medic. Jaeyun can jump on top of this if he can get his lings there. And we see even some stragglers in the back. If he catches these 5 Marines, this is terrible.
No. Yeah, this is so bad. Just mowing them down, and SPX isn't even turning around. He knows he has to get any damage done, but this force is just so tiny. This is like a control group against so many Zerg units out across the map. A couple of Hydras getting taken down, so there's no chance to morph lurker eggs with those later on, but it doesn't even matter. There's way too much here left over for Jaeyun. He's going to crush another big bio ball from SPX.
Yes, so SPX's army completely destroyed. Meanwhile, back home, he's got 5-6 barracks going up. But there's no real good tech out for him. He's got the science facility just starting. Starport's not putting the add-on. He's going for a tank push. This could work out pretty nicely because the hive is a little bit slow for Jaeyun, but he does have lurkers already morphing. His hive is building. He's being a little greedy here with this evolution chamber. I guess he's decided that he's killed so much that there's no way that really SPX can attack. Meanwhile, Jaeyun getting into the main of SPX, killing a few SCVs, and he sees exactly what's going on.
Oh, and even though he's losing a couple of mutas, he did get a lot of damage done, delayed the science facility a little bit more, so that's going to make it even harder to hold on. And behind this, Jaeyun is once again, he's being that drone man. He's getting an insane 3-base economy.
Yeah, Jaeyun, you should definitely watch him Zerg versus Protoss. This guy builds like 80 drones and 5 Sunkens going up to 7 hatchery. It's crazy. But meanwhile, he does lose most of his mutas here, but he does have 4 or 5 left over. He could potentially make Greater Spire sit over the natural of SPX. That's one of the moves I really like that Zergs do. But I don't think he's gonna do that this game. It would be a slick move because we see that there's only 1 starport. That means there's gonna be very limited irradiate. He's also confirmed that this is a tank push. So Guardians in this scenario would be pretty good. This is really going to be the strongest point in the game for SPX. He's going to attack slightly before Defiler. If Jaeyun can hold on, though, he's going to be in a phenomenal position.
Yeah, or just be annoying and keep SPX back, but SPX knows it's time to go. And so after Jaeyun having a lot of map control, a lot of map vision, finally now it's time for SPX to try that one big push out to try to make up for having a little bit of a weaker early game. Now there are forward Sunkens, lots of lurkers, and a ton of Zerg in front of his path, and some stop lurkers! Oh my god! He's walking right over them, but not the greatest spines here. An instantaneous scan and unburrow means those lurkers are basically useless.
Yeah, unfortunately, slightly out of position, and now SPX is all the way to the natural of Jaeyun. I'm looking at the Defiler round. Consume just started. So we have upwards of a minute window for SPX to go. He's just going to go right now. There's not a lot of defense.
Yeah, and he's actually out of range of most of those Sunkens, and the Lurkers just now burrowing. These Siege Tanks are going to force another unburrow and retreat, and I don't know, man. Suddenly, SPX just is in such a great spot.
Yeah, he's got 3 tanks. He's lost none of his Marine Medic. There's 1 Lurker behind these Sunkens, so once these Sunkens die, that's going to be almost all the defensive Jaeyun. He's got a lot of bases, but will he survive? The push is very strong for SPX. He's even got 1.5 groups back at his main he could reinforce with those. That Defiler is out. Consume is about 70%.
Oh, it's not done yet. It's so close to being done. He desperately needs that Dark Swarm so bad.
Oh my gosh,
there's
those
another
Lurkers.
scan. Oh, kills both of them with a single tank volley, and everything's just being hemorrhaged here. Now, Consume is just moments away from being done. There it is, just finally finishes. He's going to get a Consume, but there's just so much damage that's already done.
Yeah, it's too late. He's gonna lose. Is he gonna lose his natural? He's trying to save it. Pretty sure the tanks are gonna get it. But I'm looking back at SPX's base. I would have thought that he's gonna send his units back. But meanwhile, he's building up a dropship. Probably when he sees Zerg move across the maps to stop this army, he's gonna just drop into the main, and there's gonna be nothing really for Jaeyun to defend.
Dude, defending drops at this point is just so unreasonable to ask of Jaeyun, because he still has to retake control of his natural. Now, he is going to get some Lurkers in good positions and might actually be able to take out all 3 of these tanks. Let's see how many of these get out of here. Actually, whoa, is he going to save all 3 tanks? That's actually insane. So, Jaeyun, yeah, sure, he retakes his natural, but there's nothing left.
Yeah, he saved all the tanks, and we see that the dropships have run over the vision of Jaeyun, but did Jaeyun notice? We don't have any Scourge, he's even building Lings, so I don't think he noticed we're going to have a Doom drop into the main.
No.
And that's going to pull all the Lurkers back to the main. Meanwhile, SPX just hit from the low ground.
Yeah, SPX going in at both times. He's got tanks on the low ground behind this double drop. There's just no units here for Jaeyun. He's getting doubled up in supply at this point, and with all this tech going to be taken out, I think this is just too much damage, Nyoken.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the end. Jaeyun falling apart there. Defiler just not in time, and then SPX with a really sick timing. The tanks, none of them going down. Unfortunately for Jaeyun, those 2 whole Lurkers could have changed the tides of this game, but they're just slightly out of position.
Oh my god, they were. It was so close. And I actually felt like Jaeyun was in such a great spot, but those drops kind of sealing the deal. A nail in the coffin there to take out Jaeyun. SPX going up 1-0 in our first series of BSL Season 6.
Yeah, so like I said, we had standard maps, but we're already seeing a little bit of an abnormal build. Of course, the tank push is not super abnormal, but he was rushing tech like we're seeing on a lot of the current ASL maps. But that was a very thin timing for SPX to hit. We saw how close Consume was to being done, and once if it had gotten out even just 15 seconds faster, SPX would have been in a horrible spot. 4 base Zerg versus 3 or 4, what was it? Well, I guess he did have 6 racks, but he didn't have very many Marines.
Yeah, well, so maybe explain this to me, Nyoken, because the way I'm looking at the game starting, it seems like Jaeyun is just in total control. He stops like 2 full control groups of bio out on the map. He's got 3 bases with tons of drones, and then it just all falls apart. What was really kind of the big moment that led to SPX? Was it just coming out with a surprising push that Jaeyun didn't expect?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry, we've got our wonderful producer talking in our ear at this point. This is truly the most difficult part of broadcasting, but of course a big thanks to Zero behind the scenes for doing everything as we kind of get in between and maybe hopefully into our next game. So yeah, what happened there with SPX's big push? Why was that so surprising?
Yeah, I feel like the initial 2 racks kind of must have thrown Jaeyun off, because he saw it was coming, but we saw that the Sunkens were late. He forced a full drone pull. Because of that, I think the hive was just a little bit late. And in Zerg versus Terran, it's all about the Defiler timing. So if it's even off by just a few seconds, you can see what happened there. Just catastrophic for Jaeyun. So I think if Jaeyun can make that timing a little bit tighter in the next game, could definitely go in favor for him. But SPX looking pretty monstrous with that big timing, and he had a lot of macro to fall back on. So it was nicely played by him.
Yeah, this is one of the most infuriating things as somebody who's an objective bystander and is not, doesn't share racial biases like my wonderful co-cast. But it's so crazy to me to see just how much damage you can deal to a Terran player, how much you can just like swat them away, like wax on, wax off all their stuff, and then just there's this huge push that just kills you. And I'm just like, well, I kind of felt like the other player was doing pretty well during this game, but wow, SPX just did not make it look that way.
Yeah, if I was Jaeyun in that scenario, stopping how many attacks? 2 or 3 initial attacks
Yeah.
for nothing. If it was me, you thought Jaeyun is Drone Man. I would have been like tons of macro hatches, 4th base off of nothing. It would have been crazy. I would have been powering so hard. Maybe just go straight to Ultra because that's how confident I am. But SPX, like we talked about, he's really aggressive. He really tries to get that contain on you, and it kind of just caught Jaeyun with his pants down.
All right. Well, we're about to get ready to go into our second game of the series. Man, I'm so used. I remember the BSL5 finals, and I'm just like, oh my god, those were it was a really long series of games. But now that we're starting things over, these series actually have the potential to be pretty short. With SPX taking circuit breaker, that means that we're moving on to Sylphid for our next game. So without further ado, I guess we are ready to get into game number 2 of Jaeyun versus SPX.
Yeah, Sylphid, another new or newish ASL map. So this is one of the few ASL maps that have gotten in. No blockchain, no whiteout. But out of all the ASL maps, I feel like this is the most standard one. Blockchain is really a weird map. And whiteout is a very weird map too. I've never seen a map like that where you have like blocking vision. That's so weird.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I've ever seen with like vision blockers was something like actually I guess I've never seen anything like that. I remember like, there's all these weird map artifacts that they tried in maps like what is it? Like D-Web, and then some of the maps would have like Dark Swarm on them, and I'm like, okay, cool, this changes the landscape of the map. But yeah, some of the new stuff that they're bringing out is just super crazy, but I love it. And I think it's forcing players to really think and play in a way that they haven't been before. So I guess Sylphid kind of did that when it introduced kind of the return. I think Athena 2 kind of had a similar concept of high ground, but it's not high ground with these like inner third bases. So it's kind of the mechanic that that Sylphid brings to the table.
Yeah, Sylphid, a very interesting map. Every time I take that, I'm going to call it high ground, but it's not really high ground, the high ground
Yeah.
third base. I always feel like I have an advantage there. It turns out you don't. And because of that, you can even start positioning overlords like over top of, we haven't seen SPX's entrance yet, but there's a little tiny column that you can put the overlord on. And when I first saw this map, I thought, well, I can just send a Marine to the third base. It'll give me vision. It doesn't give you vision. So there are a few interesting mechanics with this map. Now SPX, he is going standard here. We've got another 11 Rax 11 Scout from him, but Jaeyun switching it up. We've got a 9-pull speed. I'm going to be honest here. I don't think I've ever seen him 9-pull speed, Zerg versus Terran. So I wonder what this could mean. Is this going to just be 9-pull speed into some type of macro?
All right. Give me one.
Or is this going to be 9-pull speed like Effort-esque, where we saw Effort transition into 2-hatch Lurker after this?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, there's a little bit of a lag there, but I think we're good. And you're right, the Lurker transition, not only from great players like Effort, but also Jaeyun, is kind of the place where you want to get to. So yeah, it is a little bit surprising to see this 9-pool. I didn't catch exactly what you said, so I'm doing my best to respond to the half a sentence I heard.
Yeah, so Jaeyun, we see he's getting speed. It's not going to be the Effort style 2-hatch all-in Lurker. He is going to transition into a macro game, but SPX luckily got off a first scout here, and that's going to help him out immensely. He's got a bunker and a depot at the entrance of his choke. Now, this is a little bit weird because there are a few gaps that the lane could potentially run by, and really when you're facing 9-pull speed like this, it can be dangerous because if they scoot by the bunker, that was really what you were relying on, and then you're going to have to unload, you're going to have to fight the lings out in the middle of your base, but SPX all tight. So many SCVs pulled to make sure that Jaeyun is not going to get in here. And this 9-pull speed is going to be thwarted pretty easily.
So a little bit of a story time. You mentioned how many SCVs are pulled here. I remember watching Artosis play Gameo in the ASL qualifiers that recently just happened, and he's in this exact same spot, like almost picture perfect, and he pulls like one too few SCVs, and Gameo was of course a spectacular Zerg player, just runs up, kills every SCV, and runs in and kills them, and I'm just like I saw how many SCVs Artosis pulled. I'm just like, how is that possible? Like, this looks just like so many, like such a solid defense, but you can actually just die spectacularly quickly, and it's just always very surprising for me. So I love the respect that SPX is showing this. He recognizes, hey, this is a very dangerous build, and wants to make sure that he doesn't die spontaneously to it.
Yeah, and this is kind of a good fake from SPX because what we see in his main is actually a 2-Rax Academy play. This is a pretty good counter to 9-pull. Zerg's already hurting their econ by going for this 9-pull speed. If you can keep the pressure up, their econ really does get shot, and versus a player like Jaeyun could be especially punishing. But now the Lings are, at the entrance. They're confirming that there's no command center. If I'm in Jaeyun's position, I'd be pretty skeptical about what's going on. But meanwhile, we talked about that third base that Jaeyun likes to take. He's being really greedy here. I would be so wondering, why does Terran not have a command center? We still have SCVs pulled. What could possibly be going on here? But Jaeyun, he's taking a third base despite that.
Yeah, when you see that your opponent doesn't have a natural, to double expand behind that, it's like, wow, you really got to be confident in your ability to hold on. Because I mean, Terran can just build the command center inside their base and float it out, but I mean, even still, that would be a lot of respect to show this. So it looks like SPX is kind of stabilizing here, and I don't think he's really gonna have too big a window. But let's see. I mean, he's gonna come out with that 2-Rax push. These medics are out, and pretty soon SPX is gonna try to go for it.
Yeah, and Jaeyun just got a massive scout with that Overlord. He poked in right when the medic came out, so he knows what's coming now. But like I said, with the 9-pull, look at the lair. It's not even done yet. His build is really crippled, so he's relying on Sunkens to defend here. He's not going to have the Spire coming up soon. There's going to be no lurkers. He's building 3 Sunkens. This is looking very reminiscent
is he gonna
of the
4?
last game. He may not go 4. When you're facing a 1-base 2-Rax like this, even 2, you can kind of get away. 3, you're very confident that it's not going to kill you. But you have to remember that you're giving up map control to Terran. If SPX suspects that something's up, he's going to start scouting. He's going to find this third base. And look, there's nothing there. It's a free base. Even if he gets Sunkens up, he's going to have to put them all over the place.
I love how you say if SPX suspects, because I'm guessing that suspects is kind of what SPX stands for, if you really want to get super literal. So you might imagine that he could see this coming. He is actually going to go for four creep colonies. Only 2 of them morphed into Sunkens. But no, you're totally right. If SPX breathes in the direction of that 12 o'clock base, it's just gonna fall over.
Yeah, now SPX may not watch Jaeyun stream often, and because of that, he's kind of getting punished here because Jaeyun does this build pretty often. Again, not okay. Now SPX just scanned the main, and we see that the Spire is so late. I feel like SPX has got to know now that something's up. We built 4 Sunkens. Our lair, or our tech is so late. But despite that, he's not scouting anywhere, and Jaeyun's possibly going to get this base for free.
Well, I mean, hey, bonus round for Jaeyun. He's got to be super happy about this. But, I don't want to feel too safe right now, and neither should Jaeyun, because sure, he's pulled off this extra base, but he died kind of spontaneously to that big 2-base push that SPX did in game 1. So let's see if he can hold on through that. I mean, he's got a great economy and a pretty good start here. So what does he need to do differently? Is it just extra scouting information? Is it a different build order? He's working on lurkers right now.
Yeah, so when you go for this build, really, you got to get lurkers. Okay, SPX, he knows something's definitely got to be up now.
Yeah.
Firebat going to the top. But like I was saying, as Jaeyun, if you're in this position, you must get lurkers because you're not just going to have enough mutas to get there in time to fend off the attack going to the top. Also, with this little choke, it's going to be similar to ramps like on Fighting Spirit, where all the units are going to come funneling in. So if you can get 3 lurkers, that's a little, that's not much committing to make sure that you're very safe. So that's why we're seeing lurkers here. The Spire was just a fake for SPX. Now, I heard a bunch of canceling. Okay, he's canceled all his turrets. He knows now that it's a fake. Meanwhile, SPX is teching into factory. But what is Jaeyun's follow-up going to be? Is he going to tech into high very quickly? Is he just going to power? You have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to pick a game to just go like crazy Zerg, then yeah, sure, this would actually be pretty good. But you are going to need those lurkers to defend this third base, because as soon as SPX saw those Hydras up there, he's like, wait a second, I know what's going on here. And so if he confuses the lurker eggs and targets the neutral one, then maybe Jaeyun could buy some extra time there. But there is a big lurker egg wall defending this third for now, and so we'll see how far SPX can get, because there's no Sunkens here. It's just these two lurkers and a Dream.
Yeah, and SPX is going to get up here. The lurkers are going to be out, and SPX is not going to be able to get in here. So what's his follow-up going to be? He is just going into standard tech. Again, we've got the add-on for the factory. Is looking very similar to last game.
Is he gonna go for it? No way. No. Yeah, there's no way you break through that. I mean, maybe you can go like Usain Bolt Terran and just try to stim on through, but you're not making it there unscathed.
Yeah, but I'm getting flashbacks to last game because SPX again just scanned the main. He did not see a Queen's Nest. So this is looking very reminiscent to what we just saw. SPX setting up for almost the exact same build. One factory add-on. We've got one starport add-on.
The Queen's Nest is kind of hidden up here at the third base, so it didn't get scanned there with that attempt at scouting. So SPX might be a little bit in the dark there. There's a bunch of mutas coming out, so we're doing it reversed. We're getting the lurkers first and then hitting the mutas here. And there's about 9 of them on the way, so I thought I saw like 9. Maybe there's a few. Okay, yeah, there's actually a bunch out there. So we're going to see a bunch of mutas here. Maybe this can actually catch SPX off guard, because he does have, okay, yeah, he has a few turrets, but I'm not sure if he's totally ready for this.
Yeah, moves like this can definitely catch Terran off guard. They know you're going lurkers, so why would you make delayed mutas? Really, mutas kind of fall off once we start approaching this minute mark, 10 minutes. But SPX already ready. It's not a big commitment to mutas from Jaeyun there. It's only, what, 8, 7? So it's not a huge commitment, but it has delayed his Hive. And again, the Hive has just started. But this time, SPX, he does not have that tank count. Because of that, he's not going to be able to get across them as fast. So I am getting a little worried for SPX, because this was not just, an expansion into giving up a third base to Jaeyun. This is kind of a one base into I gave up a third base to Jaeyun. And we didn't do any damage to Jaeyun, so Jaeyun's econ's going to start skyrocketing pretty quickly.
Yeah, up until right about now, there's only ever been 3 drones mining at that third base. So we talk about how big a deal it was for Jaeyun to get it so early. Not really a big economic kick. The big boost is having that third gas, obviously, not necessarily the minerals. So maybe with that third gas, he's going to be able to really fuel this economy, because SPX really hasn't done a lot of damage, or really a lot of anything yet.
Yeah, and Jaeyun is keeping good tabs on SPX, keeping his army back at his base, doing a little bit of harassment. And I agree with what you said. The saturation at the third is not that great, but what it has allowed Jaeyun to do is get that extra gas that you were saying. And Jaeyun's putting down a Defiler Mound. Now, I do think that this is just to stop the initial attack. Normally, when Jaeyun goes for this style, you can see Ultras coming out at around the 14-minute mark. And for those that don't know, that is an extremely fast timing. Usually, Ultras start kicking in around 17 or 18. So to kick in 3 or 4 minutes faster, that's nuts.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And if you're doing a Terran build that kind of relies on having more time to build up to get a bunch of upgrades to deal with ultras, you're just not going to have those in time. So a little bit lackluster effect from the mutas here by Jaeyun. They're trying to hold SPX back to keep his second bio ball from getting across the map. And it looks like finally he's actually going to find a pretty good way to do that, catching the bio kind of spread out there. He's going to pick off a bunch of Marines and medics.
Yeah, none of his mutas going down just yet. So very nice pickoff from him. Now the Defiler Mound is done. Uh-oh. Okay, no, Kasum just started.
Yeah, we're going to have another one of those hold your breath moments, Nyokin.
Yeah, like, this is almost identical to what I just saw. We saw 3 tanks move across the map.
Oh, irradiate!
Yeah, this time there's no whole lurkers anywhere, so SPX doesn't even have to worry. He's just slowly pushing. Oh my gosh! What? No!
Wow. And also this time, there's Science Vessel out here. So he's gonna have that vision. Can he Scourge the Science Vessel? No! All those Scourge going down here, and that's just gonna make this push even that much harder to hold. And I mean, what does Jaeyun do here? He's going to have that high tech, but like we said, Consume is just heartbreakingly slow.
Yeah, and luckily for Jaeyun, he got one of the tanks with one of those imbalanced Sunkens. But the tanks are taking out the other remaining Sunkens, and now SPX is coming in, the Defiler! There's no Consume, it's like 90% done!
This is the most useless Defiler. Now, I'm getting sick deja vu right now, Nyoken. Some Lurker Spines actually do help out quite a bit in the hold and give just barely enough time for Consume to finish. So we're going to have Dark Swarm. So this is not quite as bad a spot as Jaeyun was in Game 1.
Yes, so luckily for Jaeyun there, he sniped the Science Vessel. That could have been catastrophic.
Oh,
so
the
now
Defiler's slow!
The Defiler's going to live, which means we're going to get Dark Swarm out. But meanwhile, there's Army in the base of Jaeyun. There's a drop that we didn't even see get across the map. This is going to be very deadly because there's so much Army at the front from SPX.
Oh no, and yeah, SPX is even pulling back and maybe looking at that third base because this drop is going to get a lot of damage down here in the main. How do you break this? He's going to have to run Lurkers around. Those aren't going to be very effective. Tons of drones are going down. This is just crazy value for SPX.
Yeah, this is a ton of damage, and SPX, I am surprised that he backed off, but he has backed off, and I think he's setting up to go for a push to the third base. Where did that dropship go? Is it alive?
Well, yeah, where did that go?
Oh, it's in the middle of the map. It is still alive. This drop in the main is still alive, dealing a little bit of damage. It's going to finally get picked off, but SPX is setting to go up to top. To the top.
Yeah, and the top push is going to be even scarier. Like, yeah, okay, there's going to be a Defiler there with Dark Swarm, but you're going to start to hit that hashtag value from the Terran player. You're going to get sieged from the low ground, which can just inevitably push you. You can drop you from the other side, so you're not going to be able to just entrench your position with Lurker and Dark Swarm. Man, SPX looks like he's about to close the series out 2-0.
Yeah, I like what SPX is doing here. He's got a decent-sized army going to the fourth base, but he also has a good-sized army at the natural, and he has the drop. So if he recognizes weakness anywhere, like, for example, let's say Jaeyun pulls his Lurkers from his nat to help defend the top, well, he's going to have an army ready to just pounce on the natural. So he's really just waiting for that sick opportunity to just jump on any weakness that he can find from Jaeyun.
Yeah, and this is such a hard thing to do as a Zerg player, is to defend one base through Rhinitis, while you also have to worry about your other base dying. So if you send too many units through, then you might just lose the base that you're not protecting. So here we go. We're going to see an attempt at pushing the natural by SPX. There's Lurker and Dark Swarm to defend it, but an attempt at breaking here at the third base. The Lurkers run forward. Huge spines all over SPX's army. Is he going to be able to take all of this out? This is actually crazy damage.
Yeah, he just killed almost all the Lurkers, and now the Dark Swarm is not up at the fourth base for Jaeyun. We see that Lurker go down. This is what I'm talking about, and there's the Defilers coming through the Nidus, but he even has to consume a Defiler just to get Dark Swarm up.
What? Okay, I don't know about that kind of value. He's going to get the other Defiler irradiated, so now there's not even anything. Okay, there's one Lurker with 8 HP under that Dark Swarm. Maybe that's enough to defend the third, but no fourth base for a while here for Jaeyun. He's going to try to bust out in the natural now. Running the Lurkers on up. There's the Dark Swarm. The Lurkers will get a chance to burrow, but SPX he's running forward. Oh my god. There are a couple of Sunkens here, but there might not be enough to deal with this.
Yeah, SPX going for it, but he's going to lose his whole army here. But he does have a bunch of units coming back to reinforce. Meanwhile, the vessel count is so low for SPX. I am getting kind of worried that we've consistently lost our vessels, and we only have one starport to fall back on, but he has taken his third base. Oh, I wish he had like a double drop right now. Look at how open the main is for Jaeyun, but unfortunately he does not. He is just going to have to keep relying on this pushing power. But he has managed to keep Jaeyun still on 3 base. Meanwhile, he is taking his third base, so that is pretty good for Jaeyun so far. Oh, I just realized that SPX only has +1 weapon.
Oh, wait, what? Oh my god, I never checked that.
Oh my gosh, so we have +1 weapon versus +1 Zerg. +2 is about to complete, so the upgrades are pretty even. But really, that's not that good for Terran. You really want to be up ahead in upgrades if you can be.
Yeah. No, especially with having an armor upgrade advantage as opposed to an attack upgrade. You know, if you have the attack upgrade advantage, the Terran army can still, or you can still mow through the Zerg forces. But if they have that extra armor, the lurkers are just going to guaranteed get right up on top of your bio. They're going to get the chance to burrow before you can kill them, and that just means a whole bunch of dead Marines and fire bats. So, you know, let's keep an eye on this because that might be one of the big keys to Jaeyun being able to take out SPX's army here at his natural and make a big push out onto the map.
Yeah, exactly. Now Jaeyun has finally pushed back that small army. He's going to get his 4th base. And I'm looking back at SPX's base. We got battle cruisers being built, but I'm looking at that eBay and it's not blinking. I'm getting so worried now because we only have one eBay. It's not like he has 2 where he's got armor and weapon damage going. He's probably only going to have +3 weapon with, oh, but we got to drop in the main somehow. But it does get cleaned up.
Yeah, that was actually really good cleanup there by Jaeyun. I gotta start watching a lot of SPX's drops here. These things are sneaky, man. He's gonna be going for another one of them, probably into the 4th base? I'm not sure. There's a drop ship right out in the middle of the map, and I don't know where that's gonna go.
Yeah, I'm loving Jaeyun's position at this point. SPX really lacking on the upgrades, only +2. Still, okay, we finally started the eBay, but where's that dropship going? It's sitting on the middle of the map. Again, there's no, oh wow, we do have a lot of vessels out for SPX. Now 5, this could be able to deal a lot of damage. Where are the Scourge? The Scourge have been lacking a little bit, but
yeah,
he's going to get a few irradiates down here. That's going to open up a path for him to attack into the natural, I think. Meanwhile, SPX is going to the 4th base again. Where's that drop? It's still sitting in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I don't know where that thing is destined for. We'll keep an eye on that. But the bigger thing is this push to the 4th base. 4th base has Dark Swarm up preemptively, and there are a couple of lurkers there. But if he brings up a couple of science vessels, he can just irradiate his way through there. And speaking of that, we've got a bunch of lurkers down here at the natural running out. They're going to run all over this army at the natural, and they're going to burrow on top of the tanks. These tanks are going to be instantly taken out here in the bio. Yeah, sure, that barely escapes, but... ooh, that's an aggressive way to keep this defense at the natural alive for Jaeyun.
Yes, a good hold from Jaeyun. And meanwhile, SPX is starting to expand all over. He got his command center canceled at top left. But if he can secure the whole left side of the map, that's 6 or 7 base Terran. And it's all pretty compact. It's not like he really has to move that far to defend the bases. That's exactly what you want as Terran. Meanwhile, these vessels are still alive, trying to find any irradiates they can. But Jaeyun just has too many lurkers at this point. But there comes that battlecruiser to the top base. He's going to try and create an opening. That might have been what SPX was waiting for, so he can get his dropships in there.
Yeah, these BCs are going to be so tough to deal with. I mean, what is there to deal with these? I mean, there's Hydras, Nyokin. Can you tell me if Hydras beat battlecruisers?
No, they're not that good. Now, if you can combine Dark Swarm and Plague, which we might see here, there's the Plague.
All right.
Battlecruiser will get taken out or pushed back eventually. Here come the Scourge. But what Jaeyun likes to do with these Scourge a lot of times is he'll get +1 care base for his Mutalisk. That's going to take or force the battlecruisers to deal more than one shot to kill them. Oh my gosh, the battlecruiser almost died.
Wow.
There's the drop that we expected.
Yeah, BC survives on 30 HP. His drop is going to get kind of taken out by the solo lurker, so that guy's an MVP. But the BCs are still alive. Yeah, they're at low HP, but you got to find something to deal with those. And yeah, the Hydras are not going to cut it. So that 3rd base is in a little bit of trouble, and SPX is still trying to push elsewhere.
Yeah, the battlecruisers will eventually go down. They're very low health. Jaeyun just got off massive plagues at the natural and the 4th base. All of the units at the 4th base getting taken down. And the vessel count, I saw them get plagued too. They're still plagued in the middle, so they're going to get cleaned up pretty easily. But this Nidus is going down to the battlecruiser. That means that Jaeyun's not going to be able to reinforce here.
Yeah, but he does take out both of the VCs, so that's a big breath of relief. And so this drop is going to have to push through a lurker, maybe. There's more lurkers coming up from the 4th base, so the hold should be doable here. And actually, if you just look at the way the map looks, I mean, Jaeyun is holding on remarkably well, even though he's starting to mine out of his main.
Yeah, but SPX also doing very well. He's got his 4th base up. I see that we have multiple factories already down for him. Now, if this was a year ago, I would have thought this was a mech switch, but we've been seeing a resurgence in bioplay while also getting tons of tanks at the same time, and that looks like what we're seeing here.
There's no Defiler at the natural here. There's some lurkers. Where'd that Defiler go? Oh, it died a few seconds earlier.
Yeah, so kind of an opportunity, but the army I just think is just not strong enough for SPX to push in here. Meanwhile, he's got battlecruisers to the top again. They are wreaking havoc.
Oh
I'm
god.
look at vessels. They're on 1 health. I'm so worried that SPX is going to
Yeah.
send them into that spore and get them all killed. But meanwhile, Ling Lurker attacking at the natural. Are they going to get?
Oh
Are they going
no.
to kill these tanks?
Oh, huge spines go off. There's not even any Dark Swarm here. This is just Jaeyun running straight into SPX's face and using those spines to take him out. Oh, it's the melee range defiler. Ah, that one sucks to lose at the natural expansion, but I mean, Jaeyun's still doing a great job defending here. Going
Yeah,
out for a
Jaeyun-
plague here.
Oh, yeah,
Huh?
I just don't think there's enough for SPX at the bottom for Jaeyun to be really worried. This battlecruiser is still doing a good job at the top, but supplies are surprisingly close. But I am getting worried for Jaeyun because we're still only on 4 base, whereas SPX, he's even got 5 base up.
Look at the third base. There's 4 Scourge chilling right next to a battlecruiser, if I'm seeing this correctly.
Oh, yeah, what?
Okay.
So those were the easiest kills of the battlecruiser's life. He's got 17 kills at this point.
Oh my god. All right,
What a
finally.
hero.
This is reinforcing my opinion that Scourge are the dumbest units in StarCraft. Like Scarabs and Dragoons, like okay, but Scourge are like actually legitimately the worst units.
Well, this dropship gets insta-killed, and this one battlecruiser that I thought was going to do nothing. We're at 20 kills at this point.
Commodore. Okay, man. Wow. So if you're wondering why Terrans start to go BCs, it's because if you can't deal with them, they just kill everything. So, cool, man. That's the little BC that could.
Yeah, now SPX still not a huge army at the... Oh, he's decided that that one battlecruiser is all he needs to kill top middle. He's sending the second one to bottom right. Oh, will the Scourge be traitors this time? I don't think they are.
Yeah, there we go. All right, getting that one. So there is justice. The Scourge redeeming themselves. But this is still a super great spot for SPX to be in. He's got 3 totally fresh bases after his natural and main dried up. And where's Jaeyun going to go, right? His natural is going to dry up here pretty soon. And he's only got that 3rd and 4th up there that are being beset by these monstrous battle cruisers.
Yeah. Okay, finally that battlecruiser got taken down. SPX is looking to attack the 4th base again. There's a decent amount of defense there, 5 lurkers, but... Oh, there is an Itis. I thought it was gone. Meanwhile, he's casting a Radiator at the bottom. He's all over the map. And I'm just feeling like maybe SPX is too big at this point.
Yeah, even if this force gets taken out on the map, I mean, SPX is maybe poised even to take the 3rd base of the 12 o'clock expand. I think that's where he's going next, or maybe the mineral only behind it. What can't SPX do right now? He's having no trouble. Finally, those pesky science vessels get taken out in the middle of the map. So maybe SPX is going to have to rebuild some of those, but I think Jaeyun's just got his hands full here trying to defend the 4th.
Oh, and that defiler that just got irradiated at the top did not have Dark Swarm. Luckily, he consumes very quickly, gets one down. So SPX will be denied right now. But both players, like SPX is trying to make something happen. Other than the BCs, he's really not getting anything done. But I am feeling like Jaeyun's getting starved out. At this point, 4 base are very difficult to deal with. But it's going to be up against 5 base Terran. And where can Jaeyun get another base? He's trying to get his close base, but we've seen SPX keep consistent pressure all the way to the natural, so I'm not sure if he'll really be able to secure this 5th base.
Yeah, I think the 5th base is probably a little bit of a bonus at this point. If you can get it, then sure. I mean, that's great, but it's going to be super, super difficult. So, meanwhile, SPX is just chipping away at the defenses of this 4th, continuing to rally, just tanks and tanks and tanks up there. Do we have any more battle cruisers? I haven't seen any more after those last few died, but oh yeah, there's 2 more down at the natural expansion.
Yeah,
Ooh, one getting plagued.
He set his eyes on bottom right. He's going in for another run by. What are they doing? Those Marines are going to die instantly to the lurkers.
Ooh.
But there's no defilers at top at the 4th base. Okay, there is one, but no Dark Swarm just yet. He's got to be careful.
This is a very scary time for Jaeyun. He's got to defend on 2 fronts. He's got some wayward battle cruisers to deal with. And the tanks keep pushing little by little. There's new science vessels out, so those are going to be annoying to deal with. And meanwhile, yeah, SPX has this gigantic 3 base economy.
Yeah, and SPX just used most of his econ now. He's down to 1,000 minerals. Jaeyun's still banking quite a bit, but SPX still 5 base. SPX doing a good job keeping the pressure on both sides. Jaeyun taking mid-right. And luckily...
Nice hold lurker there in the middle of the map.
10 kills. What a hero.
But he's trying.
One lurker can't do it all, though. Eventually, it will fall. Look at this one. Look at this ultra at top middle in the at the fourth. Oh, it goes down.
Aw, finally died.
But there's those battle cruisers into the main of Jaeyun now. If he can just focus down this spire, that'd be a huge pickoff.
Yeah, that would actually be gigantic. The ultras are finally running through here, and it's going to clean up the forces marauding this natural at the fourth. So, I mean, that's a great move there by Jaeyun. Finally takes the pressure off there. Maybe that's going to allow him to put a little bit of pressure on now that these ultras are out. They are 5-2, so pretty scary.
Yeah, ultras finally coming out for Jaeyun. He's been forced to build so many lurkers this game that it's delayed his ultra timing for so long.
Yeah.
But can he really get anything done? I'm looking at all the bases of SPX. Even at top left, he has 5 tanks already set up there. Potentially gonna siege there any moment now. And SPX still content with just sitting in the middle of the map. I don't know about this. I feel like he needs to keep the pressure up like what he was doing at the fourth base.
You know, this is going to be really, I feel like the strongest position that Jaeyun's had all game long. He's finally held off the attacks at his bases over and over again. He's got this big army in the middle of the map. He's super strapped on gas, but he might have just mined barely enough to get the army he needs, because now SPX is going to try to move out here, but Jaeyun is hitting right at the same exact moment. He might get sandwiched here as the bio comes up from that natural, and now, oh man, it's not going to look great here for Jaeyun. The ultras die, and I think he's just going to lose everything.
Yeah, Jaeyun finally getting aggressive at this point, but his army kind of got split. Now it's getting cleaned up pretty easily. But this battle cruiser, man, in the main, it's still alive.
What?
How's it possible?
What? SPX has the most hero battle cruisers I have ever seen. How many do you need? The answer is just one. You only need one, and it just kills everything. It's going to kill the entire main base.
Yeah, and he's building Hydras out of it. He's not even building Scourge. And we know that this battle cruiser can deal with Hydras. They're nothing to him.
Wow. Okay.
They need to get another sizable army out, but I feel like he just doesn't have the econ. You were talking about he doesn't have much gas. He's at 200. He can't really build any more Ultralisk at this point.
Yeah, that was his big move out. That's the culmination of all of his tech, all of his upgrades, is let me try to take out a base with Ultras, and he couldn't do it. So yeah, sure, he stabilized his own bases, and he has just taken a 5th base at the 3 o'clock, but if he can't take out any of SPX's bases, then even that might just not be enough. He's finally on top of these siege tanks, more Dark Swarm on the ramp up here at the, I guess, 11, but everything is cleaned up once again. SPX, super solid defenses.
Yeah, just not enough from Jaeyun. The defense from SPX is solid across the board. And he had just look at all these tanks he has at bottom middle. Now we're slowly pushing. There's one Defiler, only a couple lurkers. Where are the vessels? We don't have any. Oh, we have 2 vessels in the back, but they don't have many irradiates available. But there's so many tanks at this point that Dark Swarm may not even matter if he can just insta-pop the lurkers.
Okay, the lurkers actually do get forward, but yeah, they do get insta-pop. There's 3 more behind them, but the bio's pushing forward. Okay, that might be a little bit too far. So Nice Spines does take out quite a bit of SPX's army, but there's just infinite tanks behind this.
Yeah, there's so many tanks. Oh, he's unburrowing the lurkers. That could be a mistake. They can die now to splash. Luckily, one does get down. Jaeyun will hold for now, and that's a lot of tanks to lose if you're in an SPX position.
Damn. Yeah, no, that Ultra really doing a lot of damage to take out, I think, 3 or 4 tanks there at the end. So once again, another immaculate hold there by Jaeyun. But I don't know, is this enough, Nyokan? I mean, there's still a pretty decent economy here for SPX, although he is starting to mine out of things like his 3rd base.
Yeah, I think now that Jaeyun has gotten mid-right and SPX hasn't found it, that's going to be a big kick to his econ. We still see consistent ultras coming out from Jaeyun, even though it's just a couple. It will supplement his army pretty well. He's done a good job to keep the tank count consistently low, but now there's not very many lurkers left. We still have the Defiler, but there's only 2 lurkers, and they are probably going to die here.
Yeah, well, here we go again. There's another nice Dark Swarm on top of the tanks of the Natural. Scourge coming through to try to take out Science Vessels, but even they can't do that. There's a lot of Bio and tanks behind this, and so Jaeyun is going to once again hold on, but for how long can he keep this up?
We got
There's
a
a
Ling
lot of
counterattack.
Lings, yeah.
Yeah, Ling counterattack the bottom left. There's nothing in the bunker, so this is going to deal catastrophic, even forcing a lift. And SPX, I feel like he must not know about mid or top left, that top left base. He could have had that a long time ago. Maybe just hasn't played the map that often.
Was taking out that bottom left-hand base like really that easy? You just run like 2 Lings through empty bunkers and kill all the SCVs? Like,
Yeah,
okay, wow.
Yeah, nothing there, but I am still worried for Jaeyun. The tank count at the Natural is at 6. If you can group them up, we're going to have 12 tanks. Oh no, all these tanks are exposed that are at the Natural. Are they going to get cleaned up? No, not enough Lings.
All right, well, SPX realizes he's got to defend like one of his biggest mining bases up there at the top, so he's going to try to move out and take that out. There's Scourge in the way, there's a bunch of Ultras and Fighters there, so I'm waiting. I don't know. It's like getting a little bit of lag here, so I'm not sure on my end or what's up with this.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of lag, but SPX's army is huge. We've got multiple vessels, 4, we got 6 tanks, 8 tanks even if he thinks them up. But Jaeyun coming in for ultra attack. Oh, the filer's gonna get picked up. There's the battle cruiser. He's focusing it down. The hero in the battle cruiser.
Oh my god, this is. I mean, it says it's a Commodore. This is like, if he gets 64, I could make a joke about that. But the killing off that Defiler, huge, gigantic. There's no way to hurt this top base for SPX. And thankfully, now that our frame rate has stabilized, we get a chance to see how just dominant SPX is at this point. He's got tons of vessels. That hero battle cruiser is just killing everything by itself. And what does Jaeyun have at this point? 169 gas.
Yeah, and I think he knows about mid right now. He's got all of his army over there. He'll be able to kill this pretty quickly. There's only Sunkens, no Nidus even. And he'll also be able to kill the high ground, or looks like high ground that's not actually high ground base close to his main. But
Naokin, I feel like we should cast in step with the frame rate. So we only get to talk when the animation happens. This is going to be such an anticlimactic fight.
Hopefully not. We've got so many ultras for Jaeyun. There's 5 at the top, but there's no Nidus here. He can. Oh, if he erasers, that's going to be devastating for Jaeyun. That's most of his econ. Look at the 4th base almost mined out. 3rd base, well, 4th base not almost mined out, but 3rd base almost mined out. There's a lot of drones here.
Yeah, there's no spores or anything anti-air, so these science vessels are going to have a field day. Wow, okay, that might do it for really the only mining base that Jaeyun has. He's mining just like the shreds of that 12 o'clock, but this is really the majority of Jaeyun's economy, and it might not be there for much longer.
Yeah, SPX setting up like he's going to kill this base. I just don't think there's enough for Jaeyun. Jaeyun may not even try and save it. He may try and go for another counterattack that he's been trying to do consistently to top left. That's where the ultras are heading. But I feel like that's not going to work. He's already tried it so many times, and the tanks have just done a really good job making sure that the ultras never give up. Or get up. Were we paused?
Did we? No, we're. It might look like it to the untrained eye, Naokin, but no, we are still moving forward. I'm not sure what we want to do about this, but I don't think it's on my end. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on here, but we're bottlenecking the tubes of the internet.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, we might be able to like remake the replay and just go to this point in the replay, but the elapsed time for me is just yeah, moving forward ever so slowly.
Yeah, I'd be down for remaking and see. I mean, for me.
All right, so it looks like we're gonna take a quick break here to remake and go to like 3150, and then we'll be able to get back into the replay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the replay, and we'll try to get back into this.
I mean, as a Terran, for me, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with basking in the glory of tanks killing everything and watching it in slow motion.
In slow motion. Naokin just like can't get enough. He's like, well, this is Naokin's screensaver. It's just tanks killing every unit. Okay. Looks like, oh, after 0 dropped, I have to wait for the countdown. So this is gonna be annoying. But all right, I will get back into the game here momentarily. do. This is the brief intermission here. If you guys thought the games were too exciting and too exhilarating, you get a chance to like calm your blood pressure down, and then we'll come back with the exciting conclusion of this game and maybe even the series.
Yeah. I hope Jaeyun tries to save his base and doesn't attack top left, because it doesn't seem to be working.
I mean, yeah, if he's gonna try to save that what is it, 3 o'clock base, it's gonna be pretty difficult. But I guess he has to. Like, he doesn't really have a whole lot else.
Uh-oh.
All right, where are we going? All right, I'm back in the game.
I'm in.
And we're fast forwarding.
Uh-oh.
All right, eventually we're gonna get to like 21:30. Wait, did we just fast forward to the end of the replay? Wait, what? Okay, so I hope everybody else saw what I saw. We got into the replay, fast forwarded all the way to the end, and then dropped out. So, wait, now we're back. I don't know what's going on my screen. This is so strange. What is... Okay, now we're back into the replay after... Okay, thanks to Zero for letting us know that you're not seeing what we're seeing, but I can just assure you that the things that we're seeing on our screens are the strangest. So, just take our word for it. This is getting into crazy town. Okay, I think we're back.
Yeah, so we've got SPX pushing. Where are these ultras gonna go? I feel like we've got to save mid right. If we lose this, it's gonna be over. There he goes. He's decided to go there, but is it enough? It's not that many ultras. 6, that's decent, but they're all getting irradiated instantly.
Yeah. Oh, these irradiates are really gonna soften those up. They are gonna deal additional damage in an area of effect, but there's no Dark Swarm. What? Oh my God, that would have been devastating with Dark Swarm.
Yeah, SPX Focus fired that Defiler down, so everything just melting. I feel like this is just gonna be the end of Jaeyun. Supplies getting doubled now. Where can he go for here? His gas is basically starved. Look, he's depleted at the third, depleted at the main, depleted at the natural. Really, he's on 1 gas Zerg, and you can tell he's feeling the pressure now, trying to do this tiny Ling attack, but SPX is set up everywhere.
I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot more gas that Jaeyun has in the tank. He's gonna desperately try to get up a base at his inner third at the, by his main, and I'm just like, well, sure, if you can mine from that, then yeah, you can get back into the game. But he just doesn't have a whole lot else there. His fourth is like the last remaining shreds of an economy.
Yeah, and this is kind of the weaknesses of Jaeyun's build. Is sure, you get the third base pretty easily. You're going to be very strong for the mid game, but once it goes late, that gas is going to deplete so fast. He really did nothing in the mid game, so now SPX is just pushing. There's only ultras, the Defiler. It does get a Dark Swarm up.
Look at those erasers coming through from SPX. He's just chilling and caking out everything, but the Ultras actually take out every single tank. But oh wait, there's 5 more rallied in here, so this should be a pretty easy hold. Not if you fight under Dark Swarm like that. Wow, man, Jaeyun just doesn't quit.
Yeah, he's not quitting. He's only got 55 supply though. SPX 140 now. But Jaeyun, he's just got to be fizzling out at this point. We have nothing left. Our drones, look at the fourth. We have 5 drones mining. Third base basically mined out. Now, Jaeyun's going to clean. No, he's not going to clean up this army. I thought he was. This Ultra, okay, maybe it will. But regardless, there comes more battle cruisers for SPX. We know how deadly those are.
Yeah, and battle cruisers, you have to have gas to take them out. And Jaeyun is really strapped for that resource. So we'll see how he tries to do that. But, I mean, SPX's hero battle cruisers this game have just been unreal.
Yeah, I wish we had that StarCraft 2 stat of how many Scourge have died, but I would specifically like to see how many have been killed by the battle cruisers, because they've just been killing so many. Oh my
God. That battle cruiser, there's 2 Scourge headed in, it killed both of them. I'm like, wow, that's just so unfair.
Yeah, and now he's got his sights on the only mining base for Jaeyun, and I don't see any eggs morphing with Scourge, so they're just gonna sit there.
Is this how we lose? Like, not with a bang, but with a whimper?
Yeah, it's looking like, I think this has got to be the last attack from Jaeyun. We have 2 Ultralists, we got a group of Lings, but there's just non-stop tanks consistently out of SPX. You can just see the factories just constantly building them. We're down to 100 minerals for Jaeyun. What does he do from here?
I mean, he's got a base back up and running, right? At his third, so Well, his inner third. And you know, he kept the fourth. That's still got a bunch of minerals and stuff, but that battle cruiser might be able to take that out. There's no Yamato cannon, I don't think, so these spores are actually a great way to deal with battle cruisers.
Yeah, this one spore almost killed the battle cruiser. I'm shocked at that.
He might actually kill it with the spore that's morphing in right now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, he's gonna get morphing static defense under a battle cruiser. That's how you kill him, Nyoken.
Yeah, apparently, because the Scourge don't work, Hydra don't work, Defiler don't work. But what can Jaeyun do about this push? There's just so much SPX at this point. Where I'm trying to find Jaeyun's standing army. We have a handful of links in the middle of the map with one Defiler, but they're not even in position to stop this attack, so this base is probably just going to get insta-killed.
Yeah, and like we said, this is one of the only mining bases left. There are some Scourge up at the top, but everything from Jaeyun is going to have to run all the way either down or into the Nidus. And now finally, you know, it's going to be able to come out of the Nidus, but I mean, the base is already dead.
Yeah, so there's really nothing left for Jaeyun. We don't even have really anything morphing out of eggs. Meanwhile, SPX is near max, and it's just... what's the word? I don't find it shocking that we're going to most likely end this game with these two battle cruisers killing an Nidus.
Well, he actually did get 6 Scourge to kill 3 Science Vessels. Unfortunately, none of those killed any battle cruisers, so there's still those 2 over the natural. And I feel like finally, the best unit in SPX's army, the battle cruiser, okay, they did just both get plagued, but I think there'll still be basically enough to win this game.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the end of Jaeyun. SPX just marching across the map, 2 battle cruisers in the main, no counter, hasn't even focused the Spire. There's no need. He knows he can take out the Scourge regardless. And I think SPX is going to be going into our winners match.
Yeah, I think you are correct, Nyoken. I think there's maybe some death throws here from Jaeyun, who's lying twitching on the ground after SPX just beats him into submission over and over again with all these battle cruisers. But yeah, it is actually pretty impressive to watch the way that SPX play this. I gotta say though, if I can offer a minor critique, I feel like the game would have ended a lot sooner if SPX hadn't forgotten those eBay upgrades.
Yeah, potentially that would have been game-changing for SPX, but regardless, he's played extremely well the whole game. Jaeyun did a good job too, but unfortunately just not enough. I really loved how SPX kept the pressure up throughout the mid-game. Really, the strength of Jaeyun's build is in the mid-game. You get ultras, you get your econ going so... you make it so strong that you get out on the map, but SPX was just relentless, never let it kick in, and then we saw him essentially get starved out on 4 base. And you saw it in the gas. Jaeyun had no gas the entire game.
Yeah, the gas was really something that got kind of stretched thin at the end, but I honestly just got to say that SPX never letting up the pressure. It's exactly like you characterized him earlier, Nyoken. You said he's just going to keep that pressure on at 24/7, and I think that, I mean, that's really more than Jaeyun was able to deal with. Although I gotta say, Jaeyun really did put up a fight. Every time I thought he had just lost his last base or he had no more money left, he'd come out and, like, simple things like a Ling run by would just get crazy damage done, and I'm like, wow, you know, he's really not going down without a fight.
Yeah, Jaeyun made it work with the few units he had. He had to build constant lurkers the whole game. He had small Ling armies. He had Defilers constantly being built, even though they were getting sniped by the battlecruisers and vessels. So it was nice defense from Jaeyun the whole game, but unfortunately just not enough to keep up with the constant aggression from SPX.
And battlecruisers. I'm just gonna
and
battlecruisers, those
yes.
in there. But wow, well, congratulations to SPX, who is our first player to take a series here in BSL Season 6. It's a nice way to kind of warm ourselves up for a brand new season, and because it is about -2 here in Seoul, I need all the help I can get warming myself up. So BSL coming through in that regard, and I hope everybody else watching out there is enjoy the start to a brand new season of BSL. I think we are going to take a brief break here, if I can get some confirmation on that, and then we'll come back in just a little bit. All right, so it is going to be a couple of minutes for a break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the exciting conclusion of Group A, BSL Season 6.